04.
Senator Cutter.
Imagine a world or a country in which women and men were paid equally for the work they do. Imagine a country in which LGBTQ plus individuals were actually protected against discrimination because of who they are. And imagine a world where our rights are not infringed upon because we are considered inferior. That's what the Equal Rights Amendment will ensure. Section 1 of the amendment states that the equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of sex. That is what we continue to fight for. Last summer was the 100th anniversary of the first introduction of the Equal Rights Amendment in Congress. But today, the rights we as a society have relied on to protect women and the LGBTQIA plus community are being rolled back. The Dobbs decision shows that a majority of our Supreme Court interprets that Constitution solely through the lens of those who were alive when its provisions were adopted, at a time before women and people of color could vote, own land, or otherwise live as free individuals. To expand the meaning of the Constitution, we need to amend it. That is why we need the ERA, which provides an explicit prohibition against discrimination on the basis of sex. The ERA would provide additional protections that would protect against sex-based violence and discrimination in legislation and the enforcement of laws, combat discrimination in government employment, including in education, law enforcement, and the military, give Congress increased power to protect against unequal pay, workplace harassment, pregnancy discrimination, and crimes against women, girls, and LGBTQ plus people, and provide a new basis for congressional action to protect reproductive health care, pre- and postnatal care, and contraceptives. For nearly a century, women have been fighting for the passage of the ERA. In 2019, the movement scored a historic victory when Virginia became the 38th and final state required to ratify the amendment. There's nothing in Article 5 that talks about a time limit. And for the first 150 years or so of our republic, there were no time limits on proposed amendments. In fact, the last amendment, proposed by James Madison, added to the Constitution, the 27th Amendment, took 203 years to ratify. It was proposed by James Madison and became part of the Constitution only recently. Incidents of violence, harassment, and assault towards young women has increased dramatically, along with the rise of suicide and depression. I want all of our young women and trans and LGBTQIA plus youth growing up knowing their rights are protected and they have value as a human being and the respect of society. I want my children and grandchildren and yours to grow up in a world where women and men are paid equally for the work they do and where the rights of LGBTQIA plus and trans folks are protected by law. It is unfathomable to me that some are still fighting the adoption of this amendment. It is time to pass the ERA.